Hey everyone, so I had a really interesting conversation with a patient this morning, and just to paint a picture of the situation, he's been coming in every few days for a couple of weeks, and I've been adjusting his neck, and comparatively speaking, compared to the previous visit, there was less of a cracking noise during the adjustment. So in other words, 2 days ago when I adjusted his neck, there was a huge cracking noise, and today there was less of a cracking noise. And what he said was really interesting. Kind of concerned me a little bit, not in a way that I was worried about him, but such that it was obvious that he doesn't exactly understand what I'm doing when I adjust his spine. And I don't expect people to understand everything I'm doing, but this showed me that there wasn't a full understanding of even the most basic thing that I'm doing, because chiropractic can be fairly complex. And I mean, there are mechanical issues that we're going to address to improve the movement of spinal joints that aren't moving properly. And that's a relatively simple concept. And then there's other facets of care where we're attempting to improve the flow of cerebral spinal fluid. And most importantly, where we're trying to reprogram the function of the nervous system so that your body actually behaves in a way that improves your coordination and your proprioception, which is the ability to perceive your body in space. And this is all conducive to better health for you in the future. So we could go down this rabbit hole, but I don't think he understood even the most basic part of the adjustment, which is the mechanical part of it. So this is what he said. And like I said, there wasn't as much of a cracking noise today, and he said to me, and I quote, "It didn't move as much today." And I was a little taken aback. I mean, I understood what he meant. But I had to stop for a second and look at him, and I said, "Well, I know it made less of a cracking noise, but it's moving better today." And he was like, "What do you mean?" So I had to stop and explain to him, and I said, "What's happening is I'm checking the movement of every joint in your spine. You have 94 synovial joints in your spine and 24 discs. So I'm checking the movement and alignment of everything every time you come in. And this is really important because if it's not moving, you're more likely to get arthritis, and it's really important. But when I check a joint, if it's normal, I'm not going to adjust it at all. And when I move a normal joint, it's not going to make a noise, right? And if a joint's stuck and I'm able to move it with an adjustment, there's a big possibility that it's going to make a big cracking noise. So in some cases even the joint doesn't move during the adjustment and it doesn't make a noise. But the cracking noises are a sign that we restored some movement, but this is also a sign that the joint was dysfunctional and needed to be adjusted, right? So if we have less of a cracking noise and it's moving, that means it's moving more easily during the adjustment. So, and occasionally a joint will feel restricted and I'll try to adjust it. It turns out the joint's actually moving properly, so it doesn't make this cracking noise. It's just the muscles that are holding it tightly and making it more rubbery. So I have to address that either in the same way or in another way using active release techniques to actually address the muscle tension. So ultimately, the goal is for me to check your spine regularly and for you to get to a point where we don't need to do any of the adjustments at all because everything is moving normal again. Now, this almost never happens, right? Here's an analogy. When's the last time you went to the dental hygienist and they said, "Oh, nothing to do, your teeth are clean," right? So you always have something to clean, and that's for many reasons. The first being that our diets are higher in processed foods, and that's likely worse for our teeth. But in addition to that, we now have technology and people with skills who can pay attention and do some love to actually take care of your teeth. And the same thing occurs to our spines. Historically, people just lost their teeth. Now we can take care of them. We have options. It's the same thing with our spines. And we have a lot of physical stress from modern society because we're more sedentary. We have dietary stresses and emotional stresses, unlike before. But also we have higher standards. We live a lot longer. We can benefit greatly from people with skill to actually pay attention to our bodies and give us some love and attention to help our muscles and spine and nervous system function better. So yeah, I go to the dental hygienist every 3 months. Some people can get away with 4 months or 6 months, but chiropractic needs more than that. Chiropractors for a chiropractor, you need to come in at least once per month. And nobody's perfect. Just like we're all sinners, we all have subluxations. We all have plaque in our teeth. Your spine is not perfect. But what's exciting is that you have the ability to optimize the function of your spine and your nervous system. And I'm always grateful and excited when people realize the power they have to improve the function of their body by getting the adjustments they need. And I've seen thousands of people who'd been drifting through life in pain with headaches and back pain or just feeling like crap all the time. And they're thinking they would never get back to doing the activities they love or playing at the level of performance they desire to play. Then after discovering chiropractic care, they're suddenly able to do all those activities again. Maybe it's going to the gym. And in some cases, people have broken personal records, getting a personal best. So they get the fastest race time they've ever had during training. Not only was it their fastest time, but it felt easier and more fluid. And they weren't even trying. They just smashed their records because their body's functioning more optimally. And it's really exciting for me when I see people have these massive breakthroughs by doing something so simple, just showing up for 5-minute appointments and letting me check their spine. And letting any chiropractor really check your spine is exciting for me. But when I get to do it, that's a real honor. That really makes me excited to be supporting you during your journey to better health. But thank goodness for people who like that, who tell me stories like that, because they're the reason that I keep doing this. And it's a real honor. And thank goodness you're here listening to me. Otherwise, I would be sitting here talking to myself.